Well, hi everybody, it's Doug. So it's just been a short while since my last video, but got a lot to cover. We're going to start with a whole bunch of antique locks, and after that, I'm going to show you how to get into one of these masters with the keyhole on the front. This is a Master 66. They've also got a 77. Notice I'm saying how to get into, because I think it's picking, but I don't know if you'd call it picking. So either way, we'll be talking about that last. So here we go. Let's start here. You'll remember from last video, I had this cool ad lake that came from New York Central train system, New York Central system, and I was looking for a key, and as I told you, I had purchased one. So from an antique shop in New Jersey, I believe it was, I found this key, New York Central system, and sure enough, whoops, it fits. It opens right up. So a lot of the first thought is, wait a minute, how did you just buy a key that says NYCS on it? Apparently, when you're talking about train systems, they use the same key for a whole bunch of locks so that they don't have to worry about managing 400 different kinds of keys. So that's number one. Number two, I also got from the same antique dealer this really cool, this was a switch lock, and in this case, it's from the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad. And the reason this is really kind of hit a spot for me, Lackawanna is right here in Buffalo. It's sort of a suburban area to Buffalo. So this lock was used on a train that came, or a train signal that on a system that came right through Buffalo. So it kind of hits home. But again, I had to go to New Jersey to get it in terms of my purchase source. I do not have a key to this, and I am told that because these things were so locked down, the keys are hard to come by, but I'm going to keep looking. And then finally, I came to a guy who had a whole bunch of Yale locks that he was selling. It looked like it had been a collection. He was parting it out. And what I found were three really kind of cool, unique locks. Let's start with this one. This is a Yale larger kind of what they call a bull ring shackle. It is a push, I'm sorry, I guess they call it a pin tumbler push key lock. And so you can see I actually, you push the key in to get it to unlock. So it's still pin tumbler, just like you're used to, like modern day, but once you get it in, I've got a whole bunch of videos on these push pin tumbler push key locks, but basically the plug actually sinks into the lock to release. That was number one, and well, the guy had a bunch of them, so I bought another one that looks to be the same. But first of all, I believe that is a brass shank. And more importantly, this one says US. So it was actually used probably, I think these things might have been used in the Navy, as well as possibly some other military groups. And then, as if there were a doubt, this one actually says US Navy. Now, these were both brass body. This is an iron body. And when this one came to me, it had a little bit of rust up in there and had a little bit of rust caught in where the letters were. So I scraped all of that out, scrubbed it, soaked it, and then the whole thing got a nice thick coating of oil, so it's going to stay in healthy mode for a long time. So those are my really cool acquisitions that I've received since my last video. Now, time to talk to you about our friend, the Master Lock. So this is one of those that you don't necessarily define as a certain type of lock, and I'll explain why. It's not pin tumbler at all, but it is definitely not just what you'd call a lever lock. Let's show it's operational and give you guys a look at the key. Now, I'm going to give credit to a YouTuber named Alex Blate. Never met him, don't know anything about him, but I had done some searching to see what was inside one of these things and found his video where he actually tore open a 66, and I'm actually going to link to his video in my description. Or I'm sorry, he opened up a 77, but gave me a better idea of what's going on in here. So let me actually describe to you, and that will make clear to you how we're going to actually open this up. So inside here, there is, pivoted around this point, I believe, a couple of levers. Try to picture sort of a half moon or a crescent moon shaped lever right here. In fact, I'm going to put the picture up right now so you can actually see how the levers sit in there. But the two levers then latch onto this part of the shackle. So obviously the key is lifting those levers just to the right height. And I can show you what's actually going on with the key in there. You can see the key, as it turns, releases those levers, pulls them out of the way. So it's really just a pivot thing. The key is pushing, as it goes, it pushes on this end of the lever, and it pulls this end of the lever backward, pivots. But in between those levers, I don't know if you'll be able to see deeply in there, there are steel plates. Sometimes the steel plates are in between the two levers, and sometimes they're flanking the levers like this. So the steel plates are blocking the other portions of the key so that any misshaped or improperly created key is not going to be able to turn in there because it's going to get stopped by those steel plates. And then the right ones will, of course, be able to move those. So here is the secret to opening one of these things up. This thing actually helps you pick it. You see the levers are caught on the bottom edge of that hook area on the shackle. If you get some pressure onto those levers one at a time, one of them is going to be more bound, kind of like the concept of picking with pin tumbler being a bound pin. But in this case, the lever is bound on here. And if you press it enough, it's going to pop off. And then the shackle spring will pull it up enough that it stays off, leaving the other one bound. Then you just got to hit the other one. Hitting both at the same time, you got to get just the right size tool. It would be a little difficult to do. You could. But doing one, essentially, that's the same technique that I used in picking a 6-lever round shackle, round-bodied antique lock in one of my earlier videos. I'll try to mention that one, reference that one. But basically, that's what you're doing. You're slowly levering one off, leaves the other one in place, then you get the other one off. What I've found is that the best place to hit that is around 7 o'clock, because that's near the end of the levers. So I can feel the springiness on the one lever, pressing it in, not getting anywhere. But let's go to the other lever. Okay, and I'm hitting, there we go. So I was hitting the steel plate there, and then I had to come up a little bit to get the lever. So my first pushes probably released that first lever. You can see that pulled the first lever out of the way, and then I just had to catch the other lever a little further down, get that one out of the way. So let's see that one more time. Get in there, get around 7 o'clock, some pressure. Try to catch the other. I think I didn't press enough on the top. There we go. Certainly it's not something you'd want to do on a timed expedition. Oops. And there we go. So now you have it. That is your Master 66. Got a chance to see how it works inside through that picture. Credit to Alex Blate and a little bit of how to get into one of these things. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody. Hope you learned a little bit today and hope you enjoyed seeing some of the friendly locks. Old-fashioned, antique, however you want to call them. I love them. I hope you guys appreciate it. Take care. Have a good one. Stay healthy. Stay out of trouble.